Oh, Gianni seems to be buffering as we open up the show. What a nightmare. G is actually in a hotel room right now, and he's trying to stream this off his phone, off the hotel Wi-Fi, whatever he can. And he was on here perfectly when we started in the green room, but he's disappeared. Hopefully, you've all got me right now. So at the very least, we've got a one-man show. We might get sporadic bouts of Gianni coming through. G, I don't know if you can hear me, but we have started the show, and I'll lead while you try to sort out your internet connection. Mike says Gianni Bufferici, love it, absolutely love it. Rui says finally catching you guys live. Well, you've got me, Rui, so hopefully that's good enough for the time being. I've just got caught in the rain outside as well before I've come in, so excuse the appearance, but never mind. We are here on a Friday afternoon, ready to get stuck back in to FPL. I've been waiting for this moment. We've all been waiting for this moment. Too much international football, but an amazing Saturday coming up. Liverpool against Everton is going to get things underway. Then a load of 3:00 games. Chelsea against Arsenal, Sheffield United against Man United. And then we got one game Sunday, one game on Monday, which involves my Fulham team, and I probably won't be enjoying it very much. Ray says, good afternoon, Dean, and to G when he turns up. Absolutely, he will be here. I'm very sure of that. His stream was really good a minute ago, but we'll see. He's obviously been on that long walk this week as well. He's probably a very tired lad. Well, today we are planning to do team news when we open things up in a minute. We're going to go through our teams, go through your team as well, the Chasers team. We're going to try and keep changes to a minimum this week. We can obviously make the allocated ones, but we were thinking and talking about the idea of doing a wildcard stream next week where we actually get properly stuck in, maybe on Monday, maybe Friday, to changing your guys' team, because you need some changes. Like the Chasers are not doing well at the moment. So you guys need to up your game. Jack says, looking good. I appreciate that. Cam says, the best fantasy stream is rolling. Thank you, Cam. Hope you're well, and hope the little one is doing well. Big fan of us. I know she is. So thank you for joining us. Pete says, a good weekend ahead. And it is indeed, like, genuinely a really good weekend. It's a pretty tough weekend as well when it comes to FPL. I'm looking at my own team, and I'm a little unsure of how it's going to change, but I can reveal I've already made my transfer. I won't say who I've put in yet, but I've taken out James Ward-Prowse. I thought that was going to be a good transfer. I'm not so sure. FPL fella says, where's Gianni? He's coming, mate. He was on the stream. He was in the green room, but he hasn't got great Wi-Fi. He's in a hotel room right now, and the hotel Wi-Fi was rubbish. And so he was trying to go through his phone, and that was seeming okay. But then he disappeared just as the show started. So Evil says, I'm here because of Gianni's tweet. We think G's coming, so just keep with us. I'm sure he is frantically trying to find a way right now to get on this show. He's desperate to talk to you all, as you can imagine. What I will start by saying as we begin the show is that we've got some team news coming up, and it's obviously starting to roll in as we're coming. Oh, my goodness. Look, we are graced by royalty. Are you there?
Oh, hi, mate. I'm here. Hello, everyone. Oh, mate, I tell you what, hotel internet is just such a hit and miss, isn't it? That you just never
Mate.
know if you're gonna get a win and have like super good speeds or have the worst, patchiest internet ever.
You were great last week when you were in a hotel.
Yeah, it was really fast. So I've just figured out this. I'm at the Premier Inn in Brentford, and I actually checked in like half an hour ago, and I was like, I'm happy to pay for an early check-in, but can you get me a good room with like that's near a router? Because they must know some of their rooms are rubbish. It was like, yeah, it's all good. I've checked in, it's terrible speed. So what I was doing for the start of the stream, or trying to do, was tether off my phone. Again, limited 4G. But I've just realized I can upgrade the internet for like a fiver. You get like 9 times the speed. I'm like,
amazing.
if you've got access to those speeds, why don't you just let every guest have that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool.
Crazy.
At least
Well,
I
you're
know.
looking
At
good,
least
mate. It's a great stream now, so I'm happy to have you back for the rest of the show, because there was a moment there when I was thinking, am I about to do a whole hour by myself, completely unprepared? And I could have done it. I'm sure I could have done it, but I
definitely
wasn't looking
could.
forward to doing it.
Oh, you definitely could. Oh, there we are. Look, back in our normal order. So yeah, Dean, I guess coming up today, we're going to do some press conferences are happening at the moment. Have you seen It's been a couple of quotes already in from a couple of managers. I I think Botman and Saka updates. But we'll also be showing our teams, and we've got some. We've gone for big name players in Against the Obvious. I think this might be the biggest Against the Obvious we've ever done. So we'll look forward to that one later too.
Yeah, we have gone big on the Against the Obviouses this week. I'm not even convinced by my own one. I'm actually quite scared of the guy that I've said to go against the obvious. But yeah, let's start by going fresh off the press, and then we'll take things from there.
All right, sounds good. Let's have a look what we got coming up in Fresh Off the Press.
Yeah, so let's start with Tottenham, because Ange Postecoglou has confirmed that he expects Son and Christian Romero to be available to face Fulham on Monday. So there's a decision yet to be made on Brennan Johnson. I did speak to someone yesterday, though, who's very close to Tottenham. He did expect that Brennan Johnson would be okay for that game, especially as it's on Monday. Not great news for me. But yeah, it sounds like things coming together there quite nicely for Tottenham. The timing of that international break working out quite well for them. So anyone that was a little afraid of your Tottenham assets, don't be too worried. There were some interesting quotes from James Maddison, though. He's kind of admitting that the international break came at a really annoying time from Tottenham because of the momentum that they've been building. But honestly, they couldn't have really hoped for a better fixture than Fulham at home at the moment. We have not been playing well. Look, maybe the break's actually been the opposite for Fulham. Maybe the international break was great for Fulham and bad for Tottenham. Maybe as a fan, I'm hoping that. But yeah, it's definitely a time when having Son, having Maddison, having Romero or Odoji looks like a good time. I think you're going to be all right about all of those. Obviously, Odoji not having the best of international breaks, given the England debacle the other night, which I know you were at, G. I think England players, you see England players were even like singing about him after.
Were they?
Yeah, there was I don't know, didn't completely understand the report, but England, after they beat Italy, they went out in the town and spent 35 grand in a bar. And Maddison was there and Grealish was there. And there was some line in there about them chanting about Udogie. I couldn't tell whether Udogie had turned up and they were making fun of him. I don't think that happened. Or if they were just making fun of him. Seemed
Maybe
a bit
turned up, because I was thinking this. Like, there's no way he'd go back to Italy with the rest of the team after that. He'd stay in London, and obviously you'd expect him to be pally with Maddison, being at the same club.
Yeah, so it might have been that he turned up and they were just taunting him. But yeah, so that's where we are at with that one. There's not too much other news coming in right now. Heckingbottom talking about Sheffield United's problems. Obviously, Chris Basham already out. John Egan still out now as well. Sheffield United, a team to target. They play Man United at the weekend. Højlund, Rashford, Fernandes, all players I'm sure that people are looking at getting in right now to target Sheffield United. They'll be counting on home advantage being important and a big atmosphere inside Bramall Lane, counting for a lot on Saturday night. But you know, Man United need a good start to this this section of the campaign. It's been more turmoil with the fact that the takeover's taken another twist while we've all been watching the international games. There's the Sancho stuff that's still dragging on. So there's that going on as well. Jody says, no Salah causing me sleepless nights. I can imagine so.
We'll talk about my no Salah plans, or how long I expect to go without him, when we see my team later. Dean, I've just seen a couple of rogue weather reports. The game at Forest tomorrow is apparently in doubt. The rain, I can tell you from driving down this morning, I'm only an hour south of Nottingham, and my God, the rain from 3 a.m. has been torrential. I left the house at 5, and as I was driving down towards London, it did ease off, and like now it's dry in London at the moment. But it's been so heavy, and if that game is in doubt, a lot of managers are expecting to start Turner in goal. So do check out your second option. I expect any cancelled games we're going to know before the deadline, so I think we'd be all right. Like, I think Forest playing the 3 p.m s. But if you're in the country at the moment, if you're in England and you're in the north of England, let us know what the weather's like where you are. In fact, just let us know what the weather's like where you are anyway. I see we've got watchers from South Africa and Miami as well. I'm interested.
That's a good point. Yeah, weather reports are great today. I just told everyone before you came on that I just got stuck in the rain. It's only like a shower here. It hasn't been torrential today, but still had to apologise for how I was looking. My hair's a complete mess. But yeah, fortunately, I do have Mo Salah, but I do have Turner in goal right now, ahead of Onana.
Yes, same.
Currently, like, honestly, in fact, like, we can actually address this right now. Onana's rubbish, right? Onana is rubbish. I did a show the other day. So on Ranks FC this week, our episode is ranking the Ballon d'Or list. So there's a short list of 30, and we went through it one by one. Onana is on it.
What
Like,
is he?
this is how far this guy has fallen. Onana is
Wow.
shortlisted for the Ballon d'Or that takes
Probably
place
the only
next week.
goalkeeper on there, I guess.
There was 3 goalkeepers.
Who's there?
Him,
Mannion?
Bono. No, Mannion wasn't there. Him, Bono, and deceived me. But
probably was it Allison or Edison? Because the world loved that.
I don't think it was, to be fair. I'll get it up in a second. But I was just like, I say to Jack, I was like, hang on, I can't believe Onana was this good and then he's this bad. And he's like, honestly, he was, though. He was this good. But he was also playing in a much better defence. Emi Martinez is the other goalkeeper that's listed from the...
Oh, fair. He did win a World Cup. And if
yeah.
alone, I've got some good weather reports here, Dean.
Yeah.
Manchester's really bad from Omar. Mike said...
Shock.
Oh, Cam's in Bristol. And it's boiling. Just about to grab a cider. Love that. Wet in Essex. Inverness, Freddie says... his trampoline's on his side, and someone in the chat is actually in Nottingham. There we go. I'm in Nottingham, says Steve. It's horrific here. Steve, give us more. You got any? I don't know. Can you?
Oh, horrific! Yeah, Steve,
photos?
Give us a gauge here. Do you think, like, judging by what you see and what you hear, what is your steer for us on that Nottingham Forest game being on? Like, should we already just be ditching our assets from that game because you get a better feel for things, obviously, and you speak to people and you look at the local reports, which we're not really looking at. So, Steve, let us know just how horrific is.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. I have seen a photo of the ground, and it is obviously very wet. And their stadium's right next to the Trent as well. I've seen an update on Saka as well. 2 updates from Saka this morning. So one was he's trying everything he can to be fit, like standard Arteta line. I'm sure he will be fine. But more importantly, one on the penalty taking order. Arteta was asked on it, and he said, "Well, it was asked about like who's the number one, what's the pecking order at Arsenal." So far this season, I think we've seen Saka and Odegaard maybe take 2 each, and maybe Havertz 1. And he said, "Well, there is a pecking order." But they've surprised me this season. I don't really know who's going to take it. And sometimes when I see someone's on the ball, I'm still doubting whether or not they'll take it or give it to a teammate. I'm like, whoa, I can't remember a manager ever really being that loose. So clearly it makes me think, being the captain, maybe it's Odegaard's call more than Saka's call.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't believe this, did we, at first when Arteta was saying about this? But
he's a control freak.
Yeah, but you can see on the pitch, it's being decided in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre. I mean, it shows he's willing to put his trust in them and that there is clearly an understanding in that team and a trust in each other that counts for a lot. Have they actually missed a pen yet?
I don't know. No.
I don't think they have.
Havertz scored. Odegaard scored definitely 1. Saka's scored
definitely
against
got
Spurs.
1.
Saka's have both been at home. I wonder if it's a home thing. Saka's only taken 2, and they were both the home pens. The away pens, Odegaard and Havertz took. I don't know. But it's a small sample size, that. Again, I was like, is it when the game's won, Saka gives it up? Because Havertz took 1 at 3-0. Odegaard took 1 for 2-0. But then Odegaard also took 1 at 0-0, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Jojo says it's Scotland who will be cancelling their games. Matt says he's watching this on a flight to LA. Like, how? I mean, that is hella Wi-Fi that you're able to stream us on a flight. Like, that's unbelievable, Matt. I'm also very jealous, although LAX definitely ranks among my worst airports in the world. I absolutely hate that place. So I hope you have a better experience than I usually have, Matt, upon landing in LA.
Have you watched the Beckham documentary?
Yeah.
I loved all the LA stuff. Like the reaction of him being like, yeah, I was playing with a gardener and a school teacher on 30 grand a year, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm a big superstar here, and I'm playing with all these casual players.
Yeah.
But clearly he loved it and the lifestyle there.
Oh, mate, yeah, unbelievable. I nearly went and covered him. I was offered a job covering Beckham in LA, and it
No.
was a 3-month contract, and I didn't take it because it was a 3-month contract, and I had a job, and I didn't know anyone in America. I'd been there maybe once. I was like early 20s. Like looking back now, it's crazy. My friend did take it at the time. Do you know what? He's still out there. He has an unbelievable job. Not the same job, but an unbelievable job. He covered Beckham for the duration
Oh,
of
did
his
he?
LA. He ended
Way
up
more than 3
staying. He
months.
ended up staying. It got prolonged into the entirety of Beckham's time in LA. I actually ended up going over a couple of times and staying with him, and would go along to Galaxy training with him and chat to Beckham and stuff like on the open days. So I'd go along and speak to Beckham with him. And I was extremely jealous. His life has turned out amazingly. He earns huge money, and it's probably the biggest mistake I ever made. But there you go.
Yeah, but just think, if you hadn't have gone, like, did you know your wife by that point?
I didn't know. It was my next trip to LA actually
There
that
you
I
go.
met her.
There you go.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened if you had taken a job.
No, it wouldn't have happened.
So it's definitely not your biggest regret.
No, true. Yeah, maybe you got to balance it out. It's a sliding doors moment. Right, we've got an update from Steve who says Nottingham should be okay for kickoff if you wear loads of hair gel because of wind and don't mind getting wet. Public transport is not affected. Okay, that's interesting because like sometimes games are genuinely also affected because of outside conditions, particularly when it's cold and icy. We've seen games get called off because it's not safe. But if it's not flooding in around the area and the public transport's okay, then that's one reason to trust it. I'm all for just slicking loads of gel in my hair if it's gonna help any occasion. So I'd definitely be okay with that. FPL fella, what's your biggest regret, Gio? We haven't talked about FPL at all yet. I'm sorry, everyone.
I don't know. Do you know, FPL fella asked a question on the official FPL handle yesterday, ahead of the FPL show that was this morning, about what are the best FPL assets. And I actually answered that question on air a couple of hours ago. So when you watch the FPL show back, fella, you'll see we answered your West Ham question. The regret question, I don't know. I'll think about it and try and get an answer by the end of the show.
Yeah, Derek says
I need a
LA
good
is
one.
terrible. Don't hype it up, Dean. Derek, I mean, depends where in LA you are. I mean, LA itself, okay, maybe, but I tend to land in LA and then head out to like Newport Beach or somewhere in Orange County. And these days, if I land in LA, I head straight down to San Diego. So I've actually now skipped that part and just fly straight to San Diego because it's just much nicer. Just much nicer. Sorry, Ryan. He says it's depressing for him. He's 24, living at home with his parents, who would love an opportunity like that. I mean, mate, to be honest, I wasn't far off that situation. I just wasn't brave enough to go and actually do it. So, yeah, if ever it comes along, just do it. Mike says Gianni's regretting getting the basic broadband package. Mike, he's actually doing really well. He's upgraded his broadband package here. He's paid a $5 for us just so we can hear him today.
$5 for 24 hours. What a bargain. I've actually got a regret from this morning. I've just thought of one. I was, again, like, it's a bit of a name dropper, but I've got a picture of Ruud Gullit on my wall at home. Ruud Gullit's a bit of a hero. Like, my dad loved Ruud Gullit because when he came to AC Milan along with Van Basten and Rijkaard, those three Dutch guys, if you're of a certain generation, you'll know how huge they were at AC Milan at the time. They were winning Ballon d'Ors and Champions Leagues. Well, Ruud Gullit walked into the green room this morning, and I was the only person in there, had a good 10-minute chat with him. And then he left, and the producer came in and went, "Oh, was Ruud Gullit just in here?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Did you chat to him?" I was like, "Yeah, we were chatting for 10 minutes." He was like, "Oh, cool. Did you tell him about you being like your dad being a Milan fan or being a Chelsea fan?" And I was like, "No, I didn't talk about me at all." Like, and I wish I had. I wish I had gone in, but I didn't want to fanboy him. So we spoke about how he watches more Premier League football than Eredivisie, and what channels he likes and which ones he doesn't.
Mate,
like, he spoke about TV, boring stuff.
You literally love AC Milan and Chelsea. He's sat there.
I know. And I had more than just a minute. It was like a good 10-minute chat.
You could have just dropped in. You could have dropped it in for sure.
I'm gutted. So that's my biggest regret. Probably.
I mean, that's a pretty bad one. Listen, I've got some team news that's just come in.
Come on, let's do
this actually affects us on FPL. Pochettino has spoken. We need to assess Nicholas Jackson and Reece James.
Oh, okay.
He says Brozier is out because his knee is still a little bit irritated.
Wow, so it could
Can
be
you believe
Sterling
that?
number 9 then. If Brozier's not around and Jackson might not be.
What are we getting? What are we
Mm,
getting? So I was actually spoke to someone close to Reece James this week who had been optimistic about Reece playing in this game at the weekend and then has backtracked a little bit on that and says he doesn't think he'll be risked. I think Gusto starts for Chelsea this weekend.
right.
And I'm quite happy about that because I've got Gusto still in my team. I don't have Reece James anymore. I remember I had the old combo at the start of the season thinking that would work out well. Hasn't been quite so good. But Gusto can now come back into my team. He's available again. So that at least helps out with that. Look, I would imagine they'll try to get Nicholas Jackson on the pitch. It doesn't say here in my update what the problem is there. But Brozier being out, that is huge. I mean, like, this just underlines even more why Chelsea are going to have to go and sign another striker in January.
Yeah, and with the Osimhen is pretty disgruntled at Napoli. I just wonder if there is a huge bid coming in, but maybe that's wishful
I just
thinking.
don't know if they can get there. I mean, Aussie men, you're looking at £130 million. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no way Chelsea can get away with that as well. Like,
so at some point, FFP
yes, there has to come a point when this is not okay.
Oh, talking of Chelsea, I've just been speaking to Olivia this morning. God, another name drop, but she is going big on Palmer. She is like, Palmer is like brilliant. He's been Chelsea's best player in the last three games. She's brought him straight in her FPL team. He's 4.9 million and on pens. Like, sure, the Chelsea fixtures are dreadful, but as someone, I don't know anyone that's as passionate about Chelsea as Liv, and she watches them and she's around training, and like, if she's saying Palmer's the real deal and brilliant, then he's brilliant and the real deal. Like, I haven't seen enough of him to really judge. All I know is he's been one of Chelsea's best players, and Poch is picking him. So the fact he's on pens, apparently he's taken 5 and scored 5 in his like professional career. I think some of them like under 21s and stuff. So again, 4.9 mil, definitely for those on a wildcard game week 10 like myself, he'll be in my team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do regret not getting Palmer. One of my big regrets not getting Palmer in when I said I was tipping everyone else to. Evil says something is missing with a blank wall. I presume we're talking about this here and behind me, Evil. I'm not sure.
Oh no, he was talking about my wall as well, because in my videos I've taken down the shirts.
Oh, have you? I
think someone said in the chat, like, why did you take down the shirts? Are you painting? And I said, no, I'm not painting. I've just fancied it. Do you know what it is? When we've both got dark hair, right? If you have a white wall and you put like a dark jersey behind you, sometimes it doesn't frame. You can't see, like, oh, you know, it doesn't. A white wall can be quite complimentary.
My other problem is that some of the other work that I do that requires video, I can't have anything in the background. I'm not allowed anything there. They're like made for like Insta and TikTok and stuff, and they just want a plain background.
Yeah.
And there isn't actually anywhere else I can record that has a plain background. So like this wall is like essential to me for those videos that I shoot. Yeah. And in these videos, it looks ridiculous. Like, you can see I've just stuck some random football-related objects behind me for now. A couple of medals.
That's a signed match ball from Fulham 1986.
An old school Fulham ball. A couple of my old medals that the kids play with. I'm not even sure what that is in the middle. Something one of my kids painted. But yeah, so we'll all try and sort out our backgrounds, Evil, but thanks for that. Ryan says, Dean, who would you sign for Fulham in January? I presume a 9. Yeah, look, I'd be getting someone like Girassi if I could. Like, in Bundesliga right now, there's Girassi and Boniface who are absolutely ripping it up. I would love one of those guys coming in, but I just cannot see that that's going to actually work out. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm going to keep my eye on the team news, mate, because I know we're going to get a few more bits and pieces coming in. Poch has said that Reece hasn't suffered a setback, but has just said that basically he's not. What's the actual quote? He was training good, but they're just going to continue to assess him. As I say, my information on James was that he just won't be risked. It's a big game for Chelsea, that one, and like the intensity and pace of it, for him to come straight back in with no other games is quite a big ask. He said he's going to decide with the medical staff if he can be part of the squad. I think he will be in the squad. I just don't think Reece will be starting.
It'll be interesting at Man City because John Stones played for England and he's been building up his match fitness. He played 60 minutes for England. Could he come into the Man City starting 11? And if you're a Guardiola owner like we are, then whilst it's not like for like there, it's still an extra body in the back line that starts, and maybe Guardiola isn't around. And I guess the other big news was we were a little bit worried about Son in the break. Like he played and scored and was wincing and coming off the pitch at halftime, looked like he was in pain, but still played 90. And Postecoglou has said all the international players should be available. Mm-hmm. And then the South American lads, well, they were all pictured in training. Like Enzo's back at Chelsea, McAllister's been pictured, Darwin and Diaz have been pictured training for Liverpool yesterday. So I'm all right about these guys getting minutes this weekend. I don't think it's necessarily as bad as it has been in the past with will they, won't they start. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of the big names, maybe an Alvarez at City or maybe a Darwin or a Diaz at Liverpool, maybe one of them doesn't start this weekend. But you'd expect them. I think they're all more likely than unlikely to be in the 11.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely bang on there, mate. Should we move on? What were we doing next, mate?
So, yeah, we've done our fresh off the press. I think we'll have lots of time for questions at the end of the show, but let's get to our teams. Then we'll do against the obvious, then questions. And in our teams, we'll see my team, Dean's team, but most importantly, your team, the community team. We need to make a decision on what transfer we're making this week. So next up, we got our team reveals. Here we go. I've just noticed there's around 250 watching, which is nice. If you fancy hitting that like button, guys, then please do. Oh, and by the way, the Cricket World Cup is happening at the moment. If you're into your cricket, just search or make a note right now of Chasing the Target. That's our sister channel. Chasing the Target instead of Chasing Green Arrows. If you're into the cricket, I've seen it on loads of screens and been taking a little bit of notice. I'm not a cricket fan, but I've been taking a little bit of notice. And the stuff the Chasing the Target guys are doing is proper YouTube friendly and proper fan reaction stuff. So go check that out if you're into your cricket. But first up, we've got my team. Dean, I've got 0.7 in the bank.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking and you can give me your take, because mine's going to be dependent on team leaks. Like I know we might not get them. And if we don't, I've got to make a call. But I'm looking at targeting either the Man United fixture or possibly the Liverpool fixture. But I think Sheffield United, Man United versus Sheffield United is probably the best matchup for me. And I could go Darwin out, Højlund in if I didn't think Darwin was starting. Or I could go Saka out just for 1 week, because he's back down to 8.5 million, what I paid. So I won't lose any money if I bring him back on wildcard. I could go Saka out to Bruno for a 1 week punt. Or I could go Saka out to Jota for a 1 week punt. Or I could keep Saka and go Matoma out, but I then couldn't reach those midfielders. So if Matoma came out, I'd have to go to someone a little bit less sexy, like an Eto or...
Yeah. I mean, Darwin did well in midweek, didn't he? He got a goal and an assist. So I'll be feeling good in that sense. Not so sure on the jet lag front at this stage. If I was you, the temptation would probably be Saka to Rashford.
Oh, would you go Rashford over Bruno? I fancy Bruno. I don't know why.
I just feel like Rashford getting that goal the other day might be very important to him, like mentally. Yeah. And if he can follow that up quickly, and it's Sheffield United, the sort of team he's definitely capable of cutting inside like that again and doing the same thing. I can definitely see potential there. Sheffield United's defence not looking great. Obviously, Bruno either. I think either of those guys were just...
Bruno's got the penalty appeal, which I like. Although Rashford obviously can take pens, but Bruno should take the next one. So I guess that's what swings me. It's the pen and then the 90-minute appeal. Because Rashford, if he is having a stinker, as he has recently, he does get subbed off. Yet Bruno, is getting 90.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Bruno did also have a good international break. So
yeah, you said that after watching that first game. I remember you saying Bruno would look brilliant.
Well, the second one, I think might have been even better. So Portugal were flying again. They had an unbelievable international break, actually, Portugal. So he's coming back with some confidence, which his team needs. So to be honest, the fact that Rashford's had a good break and he's had a good break is very significant. And if they can actually take that into that Man United 11, who knows what we could be seeing there? Another reason, definitely, though, to be looking towards United assets. And yeah, the fact you haven't got any probably is tempting, especially with Saka just having that triangle. I would imagine he probably plays Saka, but even then, he's got Chelsea at home, Chelsea away rather than Sheffield United. So there's a 1 weeker if you are thinking of wildcarding next week. There doesn't seem to be too much to lose there.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be if I saw Darwin definitely wasn't starting, I go Darwin to Hoyland. If I don't see anything, then I go Saka to Bruno. I think that's probably where I'm at. And it's great. This is the best thing about wildcarding when you've got a little bit of a plan, when you can dead end your team. So I can go and have a 1 week affair with a player that I don't want to have to commit to. So there we go. Oh, FPL Josh has just made a good point. 275 of you watching with 54 likes. Hit that button, lads and ladies.
No CH today, is there?
That Josh is stepping into those shoes. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, well done, Josh.
I don't know how we're going to manage the community team without CH though.
Don't know. This is a tragedy.
She is in the States, so it's an early start for her when we do these lunchtime streams.
Yeah, I know. We do catch a few people out when we go a bit earlier, especially on a Friday. So we'll apologise in advance for that, but I'm sure we'll get by.
Yeah. Tell me about goalkeepers, by the way. The percentage chance from the bookies of a clean sheet. Firstly, when you look at bookies odds for a clean sheet, or you work it out what the percentage would be, it's very rare that a team is more than 50% likely to keep a clean sheet. Like often the clean sheet odds are sub 50% because always a team is back to score more than it's not in terms of 1 goal minimum. But Nottingham Forest this week, I've got a 47% chance of a clean sheet according to the bookies. You don't often see teams like Forest near a 50%. Man United's chance of a clean sheet according to the bookies is only 42%. So the bookies are backing Turner to get a clean sheet more than Onana. I'm still not sure where I'm going to go. Obviously, the Forest game could be called off, and if it is, Onana comes in. But then I also go, it's not just clean sheets, is it? It's saves and it's bonus points. And I feel like Onana will get more save opportunities against Sheffield United, and with
maybe
too. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. I might flip a coin for that one, Dean. I mean, you've got Turner in yours. Should we have a look at your team?
Yeah, flip it over to mine if we like. FPL Big Head says, I've had to come into work super early to catch you guys. Mate, that is dedication. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Cheers,
even if it's not completely true. Onana, Turner, you can see at the moment I've gone Turner. I've just slated Onana at the top. I need to get Onana out of this team as soon as I can, really. I don't trust the guy. I hope for his own sake that things do turn around for him. But... yeah, I heard someone describe the other day, Onana couldn't even save a contact on his phone at the moment, let alone a shot. So.
That's a good one.
I know, I liked it. I've used it a couple of times.
I'm stealing that. I'm just going to write down my notes.
I look forward to hearing you say it elsewhere, mate. But sadly, it's been kind of true. I mean, look, he has made a few. It's not completely true because he has actually had to make quite a few saves. But there's been some high-profile saves he should have made that he hasn't, and. Yeah. I just don't want him in this team anymore, so he'll be gone as soon as possible. Gusto, at the moment, number 1 sub. I'm not sure whether to go with Archer up front against Man United or bring in Gusto or Andreas. I really don't know what to do there. I feel like none of them are great, so Archer might have the most potential to actually do something.
If anything, I always like to back the attacker just because he's got the bigger haul potential, the opportunity for a 10 point. I mean,
I kind of feel like I'm playing with 10 men plus 1 here, and it doesn't.
I mean, you've got 2 million in the bank. You could transfer a Gusto or an Archer out to a better asset.
I could. I mean, I haven't really considered that yet because I've taken a couple of 4 hits recently, and I don't really want to go there again.
What was your move this week? What move have you already
made?
I
got Ward-Prowse out, and I brought in Neto.
Oh, yeah, I like that move. I actually look at this team and don't think it needs a wild card either because you've got the key cogs of Salah and Haaland already in.
Yeah, I'm trying to put off the wild card as well. So maybe I'll take the 4-point hit. We'll see. But yeah, Alex says Klopp has just confirmed that Robbo needs shoulder surgery. Simicast a must. So we've been waiting on that news, haven't we?
I mean, shoulder surgery, I don't know what that means in terms of
Mike says 10 to 12 weeks.
That would be I said in my head I need 6 weeks minimum to consider Simicast because we don't make transfers on 4.5 defenders. So if you get Simicast in, you need to know you're getting at least 4 or 5 games. If we're going to get more like 10 games, then what a lock that is. Like,
should I do Simicast to Gusto to Simicast?
Yeah, I think so.
Bring him in.
I think so. And you could keep Gusto and go Baldock to Simicast, knowing Gusto could get played.
Oh, true. Yeah, I could actually. Yeah, I could actually. That's true. I need to get rid of Baldock. I treat Baldock like an invisible man. I just can't even see him anymore in this team. He's been there since day one, I think, and it just has not done a single thing. You're right. I should get Baldock out and bring in Simicast. I
And
think
then you bench Archer.
I might do that. I might do that.
Yeah, or you don't do anything and you wildcard next week and you bring Simicast in.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm tempted to not.
but because we're on Monday's show, we're going to potentially build a wildcard draft. If
Yeah.
you vote to wildcard on theirs, you might get a bit of FOMO, mate.
The thing is, because you're going to wildcard probably next week.
I am.
Chaser, you are definitely okay. So you're going to wildcard. The Chasers are probably going to wildcard. For the sake of this show, I feel like I should hold back my wildcard. So at least 1 week we've got something to talk about. So
yeah, fair play.
I'm not going to wildcard next week. There you go.
Yeah, I like that. If Simicast gets you 6 points, says FPL Josh, you'll get a 2 because of the -4. So yeah, you could wait for that move next week, but Archer's only going to get a 2, and Simicast could outperform 6. So FPL Josh saying maybe a -4 isn't worth it, and maybe it's not. But maybe that's your move next week.
Maybe it's my move next week.
There's not many of these players next week you're going to want to sell on, other than Guardiola out of your 11. There's no an Archer. There's no one there. I'd be like, yeah, then you need to sell them. You're well stocked. You're well set. I mean, Arsenal have amazing fixtures for next week, so maybe you'd even want to go Simicast and an Arsenal player, and then take your hit, or just go straight to Arsenal. But yeah, we can judge.
As you say, Simicast could have a higher ceiling than 6 points this week. I mean, they're playing against Everton. Everton's aren't that good. So he could end up with more points than that. Liverpool's next 4 games: Everton, Forest, Luton, Brentford. Like, that's a really nice stretch. So yeah, you're right though. I need to seriously consider whether a -4 is worth it. So thanks for rebalancing that one for me, Josh. But yeah, in terms, I'm going to go Haaland captain. He's going to be the skipper, even though Son is definite and Salah are both choices I should be considering. As I said before, the last 2 times I've jumped off of Haaland, it hasn't paid off at all, and I've been terrified of Man City's game. I don't want that feeling this week. I'd rather just have Haaland captaincy, knowing most people will be doing the same.
I'm with you on Haaland captain, mate. Like, I think you've got the 3 big ones this week. Like, very few have this trio: Salah, Son, and Haaland, unless they've wildcarded, and you're there without a wildcard. They are the 3 very clear candidates this week. The problem for me is on Salah and Son is I rank Haaland at number 1 because Brighton's numbers against them are really poor. Defensively, they've been all over the place, Brighton. De Zerbi teams only know one way, and they'll have a go, and it'll be great. But Son won't get 90, and Salah, I think Liverpool might struggle against Everton because it's the early kickoff, and they often do in the early kickoff off the back of an international break, and Everton are better than we think. So I think Haaland actually, by a country mile, is the best candidate this week.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fair point. I mean, talking of Brighton for a second, I mean, I haven't actually got any Brighton, but just looking at like their goals against at the moment, it's just scary. Like how many goals Brighton are conceding. Like they've conceded more than most of the teams that are like relegation threatened at this stage. So it's another reason actually going for Haaland and having him up top with Alvarez, who obviously has been away on international duty himself. But Brighton, yeah, they've conceded more goals than more goals than Luton. They conceded more goals than Wolves. They've conceded more goals than Everton. You know, it's crazy and they're making up for it because they're scoring quite a few too. They are the most entertaining team in the league, but there is absolutely, here I go, no chance that game ends up without goals, Man City against Brighton. In fact, what was the other stat I heard? I might have it here actually. Here we go. Man City have scored at least once in 25 of their 26 league games against Brighton. There is only one exception to this, a 0-0 draw in 1984. There you go.
Wow.
There's no way.
Haaland averages something like 8-9 points against Brighton in the 2 fixtures he played against them last year. I think he had like a 13 and a 6 or something. Like, he's a great asset this week. Question from John about Isak. He didn't train, so I might be Wilson this time around. Let's have a look at the community team. So the community team, we need to make a decision, guys, what our transfer is going to be this week. But our transfer this week will be determined by possibly if we're going to wildcard next week. So I've got a question for you, and this is our first question in the poll. Should we wildcard next week? Should the Chaser team wildcard next week? So we can see the team here on paper. It's got a few flags. It doesn't have Salah. It doesn't have big Aston Villa and Arsenal coverage. It's got Watkins and Saka, but it doesn't have a Cash or a Diaby or a Gabriel, who are popular players for those wildcarding. The teams with the big fixture swings are Liverpool, Arsenal, Brighton, and Aston Villa. They're the teams, if you wildcard in 10, you're going to go to. So, should we wildcard next week? If we do, we'll go for a 1 week punt this week. If we don't, then of course that 1 week punt probably goes out the window. So let us know what you want to do, guys. We need at least 50 votes to call this a good sample, or it wouldn't be fair on all of our regulars. So get voting, and as you're voting, because you're clicking buttons, also click the like and subscribe button when you're there, will you? What do you reckon, Dean? Would you wildcard? I mean, you know I'm big on a wildcard game week 10 because of the teams I've just mentioned, but there's a bit of deadwood in this team, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a fair bit of deadwood in this team. I just want to check the points of the Chasers. Yeah, I mean, I considered myself to be having a very average season, and the Chasers are 25 points behind me. And I don't mind the team. I don't think it's terrible, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 changes I would make straight away. And so that leads me towards thinking, like, in order to start climbing again and getting back among it, it's probably worth doing.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. From that back 7, the 2 goalkeepers and the 5 defenders, I reckon only 1 or 2 of them stay. And that's without even looking at the attacking
players, I mean, easily, because
you're gonna replace Onana, Gvardiol, probably a Doji because their fixtures turn, Bayer and a Stupinan. Even Trippier, as good as he's been, he's not in my wildcard plans because I need the money. Yeah. So I look forward to doing a wildcard show on Monday then, mate, because
looks like
64% have said they want to. Look, what we'll do is we'll put together a wildcard team on Monday, and you will pick every player. Okay, so make sure we'll call the stream how to build the perfect wildcard or something like that, and you can come and play and join us. So if we're doing a 1 week punt this week, who should we consider getting rid of? Let's ignore Bayer and a Stupinan because we've got a back 3 in place. Although we might want to sell Gvardiol, so we could sell Gvardiol or a Stupinan is one option. So let's do 5 million. Who should we sell next week? And we'll give options as 5 million defender, i.e. Gvardiol or a Stupinan. Saka, because he's flagged. And then the other option is probably that's it. I don't think we want to sell Archer because we can't get to anyone. We've only got 0.3 in the bank. Do we want to sell him Bomo? Probably not. With Burnley at home.
No need really to sell him, is there? You could go for a new goalkeeper, but again, it's not particularly necessary. You can get by with one of those, whoever it ends up being. So
Saka or a 5 million defender.
Yeah. So Adam's just said you did the poll without showing the team. Then when you show the team, you finish the poll. What does that mean?
I'm confused. I think we maybe. I think the team was on screen. I think it was. The team is the Chaser 11, what we're looking at right now. Anyway, it's not even tight. The poll, you guys have said something like 65%, 66%. Yeah. We'll go with that. Let us know who you want to replace this week. We'll do a poll now. Shall we sell Saka or a 5 million defender this week?
Yep, I think that's the best way to deal with this. Let's wait to see. Right, it's on your screens now, the latest poll. Who should we sell? I'm going to vote. There you go. I've given my vote for that. Far more interesting, in my opinion. It looks like most people agreeing with the way that I was leaning. Where did you go on that one, mate?
Yeah, I don't like to say too early because CH tells me off, but
Oh, it's getting tight. Don't say.
Oh, okay. Good.
Oh, it just closed in really tight. I want to wait to see what you say because it was like 60-70% Saka, and now suddenly it's 49-51.
Oh, okay.
It's really closed in. We've got 45 votes in. There's 316 of you watching right now, so we definitely need more of you voting. Who would you like to sell? This is pretty important for the building of this team.
It's a 1 week punt though. So Reedy said, why would you sell Saka with Sheffield United next? No, we're selling Saka because we could get him in on wildcard, would be the argument. So we're only selling this guy for 1 week and we would lose no money on Saka. He's at 8.5 million.
Yeah.
So this is a 1 week punt, guys. I voted
completely
Saka.
Swung. Did you? It's completely swung, mate. I did too. It's gone the other way now. The 5 million defender is winning the poll. It's 51%. We've got 70 votes now, so there's a load of you still haven't voted, but never mind.
Should we say we'll call it when it gets to 80?
Okay, 80 votes. Let's leave it there. We're on 74.
Who would be your options for
the gap is growing, yeah.
Saka? I mean, or a 5-minute defender. Like I would go. I've said I might go Bruno Fernandes. You've said Rashford. Anyone else in that midfield bracket we fancy, or any 5 million defenders?
Can't think of midfielders. Let's see who I'd be going for in defence. I mean,
Newcastle should keep a clean sheet, shouldn't they? Palace.
But you want, yeah, they probably will. It's probably going to be like 1-0 to Newcastle that game. So it does make sense. I think that we are going to have to end the poll. We got 85 votes, 5 million defender.
There we go.
You can close it.
All right, we'll go with Gvardiol. We'll go with Gvardiol just because next week Estupiñán's fixtures turn, and if we kept him on wildcard, we might have a bit of value in there. Or even, let's say, we went against it and said, no, we definitely can't wildcard for whatever reason. So let's sell Gvardiol and then give you some options. Let us know in the chat what your options are for Gvardiol as a 1-week punt. So who are the best teams for clean sheet odds?
We've got shouts for Tsimikas, Shah, and Gabriel straight off the bat.
Oh, not Gabriel, not for Chelsea.
No, I don't think we'll be going there.
Oh,
Porro.
Oh, we've got 3 Spurs already. We can't go Porro.
Yeah, no Porro. So at the moment, it's Tsimikas and Shah as the best shouts we've had so far. Shah and Tsimikas says Alex. Yep. Let us know, people, if you've got any more alternative options to that. John says an Everton defender for a set piece threat. Yeah, but they're guaranteed to concede goals.
I'd like a clean sheet too.
Yeah.
But annoyingly, the best team for clean sheet odds would be up there with Forest. But if that game's in doubt, we can't go and buy a Forest defender for 1 week.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So let's look at. We could go to Matty Cash because we got some upside
got a bit of love. Yep.
Although West Ham, I think, have got a good chance of scoring. So let's go Cash, Tsimikas. Although that's not a clean sheet banker. And then the second best Newcastle defender's got to be Cher, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Diffuse saying Dallo. Yeah, okay, let's stick Dallo in for the United.
Actually, that's not a bad shout. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 4 options. We have Dallo, Tsimikas, Cher, and Cash. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's probably a fair move. All those guys for Gvardiol. I think there's a better chance of points here in our punt.
Cool. Right. The poll is open. Replace Gvardiol with Cash, Tsimikas, Cher, or Dalot. Where am I going to go on this vote?
I'll tell you where I went. I went Dallo.
Did you?
I did, but I don't know. I think there's very little in it. Very little in it.
I've gone Tsimikas. He's winning it at the moment. I think Tsimikas, even on a 1 weeker, is quite good because it's Everton.
As much as I like Tsimikas, and he'll definitely be in my wild card, the problem with Tsimikas is, in the past, he's shared set pieces with Trent. Now, Robertson, Trent, Tsimikas don't take any of them because Szoboszlai is on everything. So you lose a little bit of that assist threat, but he's still a good option. Of course he is. It's not just for free kicks.
Yeah, I tell you what, whenever it does come to my wild card, Szoboszlai is definitely somebody I'm going to be I'm going to be contemplating. I'm a massive fan, and I think I want to get ahead of the curve on that one. I just feel like he's not going to drop off this season. Might end up being their player of the season, to be honest. He's looking awesome, so I might be going there. I know it's not one that many people are doing. Oh, we got a super chat.
He's covered the internet.
He's covered it, mate.
Oh, good, because I felt so bad spending £5 of my pounds on that. Thanks, Cam.
I love it.
Usually you're buying us pints, holiday cocktails, all sorts.
He sponsored you, I think, the other day. I think he gave a little donation towards your walk. I mean, Cam, this show's costed him a fortune, but he still turns up every single week. Thank you, Cam. That's very good of you to cover G and allow me to have a bit of a more relaxing hour. Because as I say, at the start of the show, when Gianni wasn't on screen, I was suddenly bracing myself for a full hour unprepared of FPL chat. I know you lot would have helped me through, but it wouldn't have been that easy. I like having G to lean on.
Yeah. Rui C says, if the plan is to wildcard game week 10, doesn't make sense to play safe, go Dallo for the 1 game week. That's why I said Dallo. It was more just because it's 1 week and I like the fixture. But I think Cash, Tsimikas, Cher are all good options. I just wonder if Tsimikas and Cher are more 6-point ceilings and Dallo and Cash are a little higher this week. But look, we'll go Tsimikas. That's what you voted. Thank you all for voting. So that'll be our transfer. Our captain, again, we just need to do a vote on. So we'll do a very quick one, and then we're going to move on because I want to have time for questions. Very quickly, should we captain Son or Haaland this game week? You do. Oh, we'll throw Watkins in there as well, just because why not? Son, Watkins, Haaland, you vote. Remember, this isn't for your team. This is for the Chaser team. And sometimes we like to do things a little bit differently with the Chaser team. Son, Haaland, Watkins.
I think for this one, well, I'm going to vote differently for my own team.
Same. I am too.
So, yeah, let's see what we're saying. Gary, by the way, said apparently Klopp said Tsimikas won't play all of the games. Gomez, Chambers, and the young boys could take some games. Yeah, I mean,
but that's in the Premier League. I think Tsimikas will play them all. Remember, they're playing in rubbish Europe too, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm happy with Tsimikas from a PL point of view, personally. Well, my guy who voted for is not going to win this. It looks like Haaland by a landslide. I wanted Son. I thought, all right, if I'm ever going to bet against Fulham, it can be in this team. But you guys have chosen not to do it.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Fine. Look, we'll go Haaland. And the bench will be Bayer on the bench, Estupinan on the bench, and then Archer on the bench. It doesn't really matter too much of the order, but let's go Archer first sub. Guys, thank you so much for all your voting. Let's move on now to Against the Obvious. It's the obvious every week.
Oh God, it's me. Okay, let me just give me a second. I had some notes on this and I can't find them.
We have picked two massive names this week. You've picked someone I might buy in Bruno, and I've picked someone you own,
mate. I mean, my one is a risky one. I know that much. Oh, I can't find my note. Anyway, you could just start the clock because I know what a massive risk I'm taking here. Bruno Fernandes against the obvious as he goes to Sheffield United. Bang in form. Like the international break that he's just had would have rejuvenated this guy's confidence. He should be feeling like a superhero as he returns. Yet I still have no temptation to pick him because I feel that he is weighed down by this Man United squad every single time he steps on the pitch. And I just don't feel that you'll be getting the same output from him at club level as we're seeing at international level. Like, until I start to see that the other players around him can lift their levels, you're not going to see the best version of Bruno Fernandes. And so while part of me really hopes that I'm wrong on this because I want Bruno to turn things around again and I want him to become a good asset in this game again, even against Sheffield United, I cannot trust it. And as I said before in the show, I would be going for Rashford this week if I had to put a Man United player
in. Okay, there we go. I think I might be going Bruno, but let's see. We'll discuss this one on Monday. I'm gonna got a big name for you as well. We're gonna do one poll before the end of the show. In fact, we'll ask it now when I'm talking. Shall we go Onana or Turner as the starting goalkeeper? That's a big question and one we missed. Sure. We'll do a poll now. Onana or Turner? You know the fixtures. Onana is at home to Luton. That's as good as it gets. 47% chance, according to the bookies, of a clean sheet. Turner is, and Onana has 42% chance of a clean sheet and is away to Sheffield United. So against the obvious for me is Mo Salah. Guys, I know how good he is. Let's start that clock. But last time Liverpool played in the early kickoff, and not just last time, but the time before that, they struggled. They do not like this game. They obviously hate TNT Sports or BT Sport. And Klopp always has a moan. Every time they're on that channel on a Saturday at 12:30, they struggle. Now, they came back against Wolves in the second half and turned the game round. But the truth is they should have been dead and buried at half time. The truth is against Brighton last week in game week 9, they should have been dead and buried at half an hour in. Mo Salah got a lucky penalty before half time, and then he goes and gets a 15-pointer. For me, Mo Salah is a very good pick, and he's needed from game week 10. He's not needed from game week 9. I'm surprised quite so many are going to be captaining him this week. I think Everton are better than we give them credit for. I think Liverpool perhaps aren't as good as we think. And for me, I'd be swerving Mo Salah this week, although I am wildcarding so I can get him in next week. I get it. He's a good pick, but not this time round.
Oh, I hope
I
you're
believe that
wrong.
myself for a minute.
I really need some Salah points, man. Like I really need him to weigh in with like a brace or something, and give me some proper points return at a time and before everyone else jumps back on him with their wild cards. But yeah, I hate early kickoffs, obviously, and like if he doesn't against Everton early doors, then kind of ruins my team for the weekend. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether that one comes through. I just saw someone ask who I've seen at the shops this week. I haven't actually seen anyone, sad to report. Nobody of any note. I'm just trying to think. I did actually see one guy who's related to football in the sense that he was Declan Rice's one-on-one coach when he was coming through at West Ham. And I had a quick chat with him in Costa, and we were chatting about Declan Rice, and I said to him, just talking about the way that he was playing, and he said, "You know what? As soon as Arsenal buy another midfielder and they unlock Declan Rice, just watch the way that he attacks." He said he is one of the best strikers of a ball I have ever worked with. In fact, I think he said he's the best he's ever worked, and he's trained a lot of these players as they come through, and he was like, he can score a lot of goals and he can assist a lot of goals too. He said, and that's something we're going to see. So, while I didn't actually see anyone famous, I thought that was quite interesting.
That is interesting.
I like that. Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny because when you see players striking a ball, like some of the best passers around strike the ball as clean as you'll ever see, but doesn't make them good goal scorers because it's so different, isn't it? Like, I don't know. Trying to think of an example. Pirlo struck a ball better than anyone I've ever seen, but he never had good numbers. He never scored goals.
Yeah.
Always played deep, but I get it. Rice is more dynamic than that, and when you see him dribbling and opening up his legs, he looks like he can go and express himself a little bit more, and maybe isn't just strictly a DM.
Yeah, he's absolutely no chance that he's going to be happy to remain as a DM. So maybe next season we start to see a new version of that. Is Isaac playing? Probably not. No. Cam's got another £3 thrown into the bank, mate. So you can treat yourself to a sandwich now as well. Maybe. I get a sandwich for £3 these days, £3.50. Play Sterling and roll or transfer out.
So Cam's probably used his wild card if he's thinking of rolling. Personally, I'd roll. I think Sterling, because he's got Brentford next week at home. I think that's a good fixture for Sterling. Like, I don't expect Sterling to do much against Arsenal. I don't. But I'd be happy carrying him.
He's probably going to play.
Yeah.
Because of this question mark over who's fit. Yeah.
So I play number 9.
I think he'll play. And he's got a lot to prove at the moment. He's hating the fact that he's like now out of the England setup. Like that's bothering him. He does seem to have a bit more about him at Chelsea. Just whereabouts he's going to exactly fit in. I mean, I have to see for sure because of Mudryk now coming through, and he's been doing well in training. But whether they're willing to trust him for enough time. Noni Madueke apparently is doing really well as well.
Yeah, he did well for you in under 21. Scored a good goal, didn't he? I asked Liv this morning about the front three, and she thought it would be Sterling left, Palmer right, because Sterling was so good on the left, despite Mudryk scoring a great goal for Ukraine. Like, I think Mudryk's still very much going to be first impact sub or a rotation. I think Sterling left, Palmer right might now be the first choice, but let's see, because with the number 9 injury. But what about Martinelli? We've not spoken about him, Dean. We speak about Saka all the time. But Martinelli 7.7, he's 0.8, 0.7, one of them, less than Saka. And like, I think he's a key cog now in that Arsenal attack. Like him, Saka, Jesus, when all three are playing together and all three are fit with the Arsenal fixtures, I think that'll do some damage. Like game week 10 and 12, 2 amazing home fixtures.
Yeah, do you know what's interesting? Martinelli 4% owned now.
Is he?
Bowen is 18.
I might go Martinelli on the wild card,
That is like an incredible number for Martinelli to be owned by 4%. What was that at the start of the season? Like that was so drastically different. I know like he's had a little spell in between where he hasn't been playing, but you look at Martinelli, what he's capable of. 6 points last time out, obviously, when they played against Man City, and against Chelsea, you could not rule out at all that Martinelli is going to be the difference between those two teams. I think that's actually a really, really nice pick, Martinelli. As you say, they've got a good run of games coming up as well, Arsenal. He's going to be starting all of the matches unless he gets a knock. So I go Martinelli. I think I would.
Yeah, I think I prefer Martinelli for a couple of weeks and then maybe move on to Bowen. Bowen is clearly a good option with West Ham's fixtures. I just don't back that West Ham attack to always score, and I always back the Arsenal. Like when you watch Arsenal and Martinelli, you just know you're always in the game. Sometimes with West Ham, I feel like, they're just a little bit underwhelming.
No, I think that's totally fair.
Good question, though, Simon. Have we got any more coming in? Guys, thank you so much for watching. We love doing these Friday afternoons. Do hit the like button if you haven't already. And obviously subscribe. Like I assume most of you or all of you watching have already hit that subscribe button, but please do if you haven't.
Yeah. Where are you off to, mate? Why are you in a hotel, by the way? Are you going somewhere in London?
Yeah, so because I was here this morning and I'm here tomorrow morning for Sky Sports News at 10:30.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's just a long way to drive back.
Yeah. No,
so I was like, I'll put myself a Premier Inn in Brentford, and then I'm literally walking distance to Sky if I need to be.
Oh, mate, you're nearly a permanent on the Sky payroll at this point, mate, with all these trips.
Yeah, it's great. I love going down, and I'm probably doing, I don't know, one every 3 weekends. So it's only one every 3 Saturdays, but I'm enjoying it. It's good gig to have. It's just it is a long drive, so if I can combine the visit with an FPL show, even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Nice one, mate.
What do you reckon with Saka? Like you actually called it last time, man. You were like, this injury is different. It's a hamstring. Arteta will be cautious. And I was like, no, he's always given us BS. But actually, like, you completely called it. For once, Saka got his rest and he didn't go on the international break. So is he well rested enough, do you reckon?
You'd imagine so, because like he was like not terribly injured for that one before the international break. He's now had a spell in between. It's very hard to read, though, because it's such a fragile injury and they cannot risk that at all. So my temptation would be to assume that he'll be okay. But also, now that we've learned that Arsenal can actually live without him, maybe they do. Maybe they give him one more game. So I find that a bit of a risk. And like I said to you, in your team, I would be getting rid of Saka and bringing in a United asset just for this week before the wild card.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Interesting, by the way, on the goalkeeper vote, I think Turner got like 70% odd. So yeah, clearly they agree with you guys, the Chasers team, because they're going Turner over Onana. Maybe I switch it. Maybe I just follow the bookies. Luton are so rubbish. Are they really going to score? And Forest are good at home, and the game might not go ahead anyway. So I think I might switch to Turner. I think you guys have all turned my head on that one.
Turner to your head.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the great content, says Cam. Pete says, can all the Chasers that beat Gianni tag along too? I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Tag along to what? But I'm sure we can try and make something happen. Guys, next week, we're going to do the wildcard draft on Monday's show. So we'll review the game week, but also build a wildcard draft. So make sure tuned. Oh, if I beat Gianni this season, he has to take me to the Sky Studio and the Premier Instructions. I love that. That's from our producer. I will. If you
have that power,
maybe for one of them. Maybe for one of them. Although I can't promise Rud Hullet will be there every week. I'll tell you what, if I ever see Rud Hullet again, I'm going straight in with AC Milan chat.
You just need to keep a spare Milan shirt in your bag for the foreseeable future, just in case.
Yeah. Good stuff. There we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. On your way out, do like, subscribe, and if you're just tuning in, go back and watch the last hour. I might try and do a quick live either tomorrow morning or late night on my YouTube channel, seeing as I'm all alone in a hotel room in London. So do follow that channel or follow me on Twitter or whatever. But thank you so much for watching. For now, he's been Dean. We'll be back on Monday. I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing Green Arrows.